People, another episode of The World is Burning. If you're new here, welcome, take a seat. We're going to watch some videos looking at the rent crisis today. It's something that everyone has to deal with, everyone's impacted by. This channel, we're just documenting the financial crisis everyone's going through, and we're going to be documenting the 2024 collapse of some of these economic systems. Let's get into it, people. Rent. It's too damn high.
It's May 2023, and writing my rent check this month was one of the most arduous things. My landlord raised our rent, or let me back it up. My landlord sent us a notice back in January to say that we need to be out by the end of June, and that for the months of May and June, she wants $1,000 more a month. Unfortunately, this is completely legal because we're tenants at will, for her to both ask us to leave and ask for more money. Now, we've got legal counsel, and we were advised under no circumstance should we be paying the increase because we are not obligated to. We need to agree to a rent increase, and given that she has told us when we need to be out, she can't do anything until that time that we need to be out. She couldn't try and evict us until we are no longer following what she's asking in terms of being out. I also, just sidebar, why is this legal? If I had a lease, that wouldn't be legal to ask us to leave and increase the rent. But because we're not on a lease, it's legal, but there's no obligation for us to do so. It sounds like that's not very much in a tenant's interest. Also, didn't want to be tenant at will. That wasn't our choice. And last year, our rent went up $500 a month. Last year, we were given the option to stay, and when it came to moving or staying,
And here's the thing, they kind of have you by the balls. It's like, they know how much of a pain it is to move flats or to move apartments. So they're hoping that, pay an extra $500 a month, you're just happy to do that, shut up and just keep going on. But now she sounds like she's taking the mick. She either wants you out to use it for something else. But yeah, this isn't a good landlord. There's a lot of shitty landlords out there, and it sounds like this man's dealing with one.
This was less expensive than the alternative. And we've been looking since the beginning of February for a place, seen over 20 different places. The apartment market is ridiculous. Either the things in our price range are not a place where we're going to bring our young children, and we're not just moving for a year to get out. We need some place where we're not moving every year. That's not fair to the kids. And either it's not in a good condition for a family to live in. There's a multitude of applications, and we don't get the place. The last place we applied to 3 weeks ago didn't have the courtesy to...
Yeah, and I've been hearing these stories. There's a new scam going on where they'll charge you $100, $50 to just apply for an apartment. That should be illegal. It's like they're just making extra money. They're getting 10 people to apply for an apartment. They already know 9 of them they're not going to go with. Charge you anyway. Yeah, scumbag behavior.
Back out to us to let us know that we weren't accepted. And I've even heard instances from one of the realtors that people will offer more than what in their application than what the tenant is asking for rent, just to make their application a little bit more appealing. This is mind-blowing and ridiculous, by the way. Now, last year when our landlord tried to raise our rent, she didn't give us the 30 days notice that we were obligated to, and we pushed back and we said, well, listen, we understand that this is we can't come to any agreement in between. We have to pay it. This is when we're going to be paying, not when you asked us. It's going to be a month later. So my understanding would be that in order to prevent that from happening again, she sent us this notice back at the end of January. And she spent a little over $8 to make sure that it was certified mail. And we did nothing. And we paid the same amount that we've been paying for the past year. She wasn't happy, but she doesn't have to be because we're under no obligation to pay it.
Yeah, it sounds like this man's going through it right now. I hope she sorts herself out, brother. This comment here, we are at a breaking point. Wages are not keeping up with rent. Not sure what everyone is meant to do. And that sums it up quite nicely. The wages aren't keeping up. The rent's going through the roof. What the hell is everyone supposed to do?
I'm going to post a little bit of a rant here just about the London rental crisis. One thing that's making the London rental crisis worse are just letting agents who don't know their stuff and are also just incredibly rude. So today, it's going to view 3 properties in London, okay? I don't live in London, so I've got to get into London, which is about 45 minutes to an hour, to go view these places. First one, go and view. The letting agent booked us in for 12:45 and then asked us if we can come in at 12:30. Well, I was like, I'll try and get there as soon as I can, but, there's traffic. She rings me constantly 3 times, asking me, where I am, etc. I was like, I'm 5 minutes away, chill. Anyway, I get there, doesn't even bother to greet us, just literally sees us and then bowls straight into the flat, is then just incredibly rude. I couldn't answer any questions that I had. You know, it was just sort of like, oh, this is this room, this is that room. Have a look around. What do you think? That's pretty much it. You know, and I know that's what most like things go with. But she was just in such a rush to get out of there. It's like, why did you book us in the first place? So that was the first one. We were in and out within a couple of minutes. It just wasn't a good experience. Then the second one we were going to go visit, there was a bit of a gap between our next one. But we turn up at 3:30, which we booked in the week. Turn up at this property. Now, bearing in mind we had no confirmation from this particular letting agent that we were going to view the property. So no confirmation of what the actual address is. You just get, what you see on Zoopla. And yeah, so we arrived there at 3:30. Nobody there. I ring up spend there 5 minutes waiting. I ring up the switchboard and said, we're supposed to be viewing a property. Where are you? No, I'll get in contact with him. The bloke then rings me up and says, oh, I'm 40 minutes away. I was like, that's not very good, is it? Like, you're supposed to be here now. Oh, yeah, things are running behind. And he's like, it's best if we reschedule. And it's like, what? Like, you're supposed to be showing...
Yeah, and here's the thing, they don't give a fuck. Like, they're a letting agent in London, they know the place is going to rent out, they're going to get their fees regardless, they don't care who's going to go in there, they don't have to give a good service. Fat cat here in the comments, agents are vultures, they add zero value. They'll call up owners of properties already listed on open rent, that's how lazy they are. Liga, it's not a crisis, it's a well-run, well-planned scheme, and all letting agents are in for that. and they, more than the landlords, are ranking up the prices. That's exactly it. It's like these letting agents need to sort it out.
2 other properties, like, I can't come on a Monday afternoon. I've got work.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just an absolute piss take. He's like, oh yeah, just really sorry. And I said, well, did you not think to ring me and tell me that you're 40 minutes
Course
late?
not.
Sat here outside the fucking property waiting for him, and he's just not even bothered to even email me or even just call me and just say, look, I'm really sorry, blah blah. It's a piss take. Like, so all the experience we've had so far have just been letting agents that don't have a clue. There's one person who was really good, and that's when we made an offer and we didn't unfortunately get it, but she knew her stuff and she was great. She answered all of her questions. So, just want to say, it's not all of them, but every other one we've been with, they've been just rude, they've been obnoxious, and they've just been downright unprofessional. And, there's massive London rental crisis, and these guys are just making it worse. Sorry, Rand.
Yeah, nah, they're definitely making it worse. But that's what you get for going to London, brother. Come up north. There's always space up north here.
Reason 1,000,004 that I'm so freaking tired of renting a house. Specifically from like a corporation and not from like a person. Last week we got a notice on our door saying that they are coming in for like a quarterly inspection and like a TELUS upgrade thing. Now we've gotten these notices before for quarterly inspections, but then like nobody ever shows up. So like I never know to take it seriously or not, because they say they're going to, but then they actually don't show up at all. So I kind of thought that like the TELUS person was like the visitor and they just have to put it under like a quarterly inspection name. So that's kind of what I assumed. TELUS guy comes this morning. He's in and out in less than 10 minutes and he was just in our garage. So it was super easy, super quick. I thought that was it. Then I get the girls down. Romy is napping and Avery is in her room for quiet time, which we do every day. It's like a break for me. And Romy has been napping like really badly lately. Like she wakes up super early and then she's so cranky all day long and is so overtired by the end of the day. So I'm sitting on the couch and I'm just editing my vlog and it's really quiet in the house and I love that for me. And then I hear the door trying to open and I was like, it is way too early for David to be coming home. Like sometimes he has earlier days, but like today is not one of them. And the door was like struggling to open, like somebody was like locking and unlocking it. So I go down and I'm like, who the hell is trying to break into my house? And it's these 2 girls and I open the door and they're like, we're here for the quarterly inspection. And I was like, was that not the TELUS guy? And they were like, no. I was like, did you try knocking? Because like I can hear the door if you're knocking. And they were like, no, we didn't. And it's like, so check if somebody's home first. I have 2 big dogs with really scary barks. Like, so I put the dogs away, I let them in, and I say, my baby is sleeping upstairs. So like, don't wake her up. Don't be loud, don't go in her room. Like common sense. You would think. But no, they go upstairs and they go immediately into Romy's room. I just hear the sound machine get louder And then Romy start to cry. And I go upstairs and I'm like, what did I just tell you? My baby was sleeping. And they point to Avery's room because that's where she is for quiet time. She's playing very loudly. And they're like, we thought that was the baby. Like, does that sound like a sleeping baby to you? Because a sleeping baby to me is quiet. So anyways, I go back into Romy's room. I try and get her to go back to sleep. And by the time I am out of the room, Romy's still crying and the people have left and wrecked my day. I think Romy's back asleep now, but I hope those girls feel really bad because I am...
Yeah, and here's the thing: the quality of service you get is terrible. Like, they can't even knock before coming in. Yeah, they're not supposed to do that in the UK, but yeah, I'm not sure what it's like in America.
Okay, this advert was up in my local yoga studio, and it has really got on my nerves. I realize that this is totally not the kind of content that I usually post, so I'm really sorry if you follow me French and English videos. We will come back to that once I have exercised my level of irritation with this advert. This is what really gets me about this advert, right? It's so cute and humble. It's like a little handwritten note up in a yoga studio. There's a heart, there's a smiley face. It's all serene and it's about connection. And then the room is exorbitant. £1,365 a month for a room in a shared house. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like, don't be cute and then financially rate me. Like, I see what you're doing. There weren't even any pictures with the advert. I'm like, who is gonna call you? Who in their right mind is gonna call you? Who's gonna look at that and be like...
Here's the thing: there probably is some people who would look at that and go, like, look at this comment here, Sid the Vicious, viewing this note through my NYC lens, and I was like, ooh, I wish a place like that existed. It actually probably isn't that bad of a deal, to be honest. I've seen some horrific deals in London. Yeah, 1,365 a month for a room. Yeah, that's actually nothing too crazy, I don't think.
She seems nice, and I do think £1,365 a month is reasonable. Now, she doesn't mention whether or not bills are included, but I think it sounds like a really good deal. You are not looking for someone who is lovely. You are looking for someone who is rich. And I'm not saying that you can't be rich and lovely, but don't pretend like as if your first priority is someone who's just lovely, because your first priority is going to be finding someone who can afford to pay £1,365 a month for a room in a shared house, which is what it is. So not lovely, babe, rich. Own it.
Yeah, and she's not wrong there. I mean, if you do that, what's that, like 15 grand a year just to live in a room? It's like when you look at the minimum wage in the UK, it's like, how are these people affording this stuff?
You rent over the 5 years?
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Did you live there? Yes. Then you owe rent. Do you or don't you?
I don't really know.
Give me rent.
You'll get your rent when you fix this.
I don't want to hear you.
I'm gonna put some dirt in your...
No! Well, maybe you've been getting away with this kind of nonsense, but you're not going to get away with this kind of nonsense here.
Whoa.
You want to tell me why you didn't pay rent?
This door!
You have pictures of the damage? I'd like to take a look at it. What's this a picture of, sir?
Door!
I'd like you to tell me what the bottom of that door looks like, sir. Tell me what damage do you think a person did to that door
I'll
as
figure it
opposed...
out. Stop lecturing me, please.
Excuse me a second. My back!
What the fuck?
This is sport for me. It's my sport.
Hey, Mr. Dickovich. Listen, I'm really sorry for what
Sorry,
happened
doesn't
earlier.
pay the rent. And don't try to sneak past me. I have ears like a cat, and eyes like a rodent. You're a good woman. I'm a good man. You can buy me pizza sometime. Today's good.
I'm all yours. My only question is, do you or don't you? Get along.
Yeah, some people have way too much time on their hands making these memes.
Literally fuck the Supreme Court. Like, we all know how this is gonna go. We literally know how this is gonna go. They have never voted in our favor. They've literally been the Supreme Court of taketh the rights away, none giveth rights to us, or let us maintain the rights we still have. Rent control is literally the only thing stopping landlords from charging people whatever the fuck they want. They're just gonna keep raising the rents and raising the rents to even more than their own fucking mortgage. It's just so they can pocket as much money as humanly possible. And if we have an inventory problem, that means not everyone can buy a home. So home prices are really high. Interest rates are really high.
Ranty video. Not done one of these for a while. So, minding my own business, scrolling through TikTok, and the amount of videos that I see of people taking the piss out of people on universal credit. Now, back in the day, it used to be, oh, you're on job seekers or income support, whatever. But universal credit is a little bit, universal, basically. So, to those people that think everyone on universal credit is a fucking scrounger, has no work ethic, etc., etc., let me paint a little picture for you. I work, my partner works. He's self-employed, and I'm on a 0-hour contract. So, not being in a full-time job, I guess, some weeks I get paid weekly. Some weeks I will earn 400 quid. Other weeks I will earn 50 quid. And the same goes for him. He's a mechanic. So, you know, at the moment, this time of year, not a lot of people have got money to afford to fix their cars. So at the moment, he's got fuck all work. Therefore, we are relying on universal credit. So it's not the fact that we don't want to work. That is there to help people like me and him survive. Right? Oh, honestly, I could shout on for fucking hours, but it really pisses me off. Now, some months, I will earn, like I said, 400 a week, 50 quid a week, whatever, it depends. So, if we didn't have universal credit to help us, we wouldn't be able to afford our $1,250 a month rent. We wouldn't be able to afford all this fucking cost of living and like gas and electric. Well, we don't have gas, but whatever. And everything else. We would literally not even be able to afford our rent if we did not get universal credit. So this month, because we get paid on the 1st of every month, like our universal credit, we actually got 1,500 quid. Because last month, being Christmas, and that we moved house, we got fuck all between us. It would not have even paid the rent. Plus then you've got council tax and everything else. So if it wasn't for that universal credit, we'd be fucked and out on our ears. With 2 kids. Yeah, okay. And I get that there are people that did all the system and what have you, but that is quite a small minority that do that. So all this stigma around universal credit needs to fuck off, and people need to give their heads a wobble. Because
yeah, in the UK we have a good benefit system. We do have a good benefit system. I do think we need a social safety net for people who are falling through the cracks and whatnot. I mean, we don't want these people out on the streets with the kids and whatnot. But yeah, it's rough when people are on these 0-hour contracts. You probably don't have these in the US, but that's where you work for a company, but they tell you every week how many hours you're going to get. It could be like 3 hours. It could be a full week's worth of work. Yeah, it's rough out there.
You want to know what really grinds my gears
Tell
and gives
me.
me anxiety? Motherfucking leaving Costco on a Saturday. This shit's fucking crazy. I get flashbacks of jail and shit, because dudes were like, 2 lines! 2 lines! I'm like, yeah, that shit. Yeah, and that shit. But I do it because I'm a good son. And my mom didn't know where to go. This tiny woman, I love her. Oh, Eli's with his mom for, well, until tomorrow. Because, I like him to spend time with his mother. The only thing is, usually I go out and splurge a little bit, but I can't because our landlord raised our rent. That hurts. Talk about living check to check. Now I know what everybody's talking about. I look like a fucking weirdo just making videos in line at Costco. It's all good though.
I actually didn't think he was going to talk about rent then. Yeah, see, everyone's getting hit with these rent increases. I fucking love Costco, though. Costco's one of my favourite places. Costco, I only have 130 subs. Please sponsor me, though. That'd be an absolute dream come true.
I don't even know what's happening with these rental prices in Sydney right now. Like, I can't even. My partner and I have good jobs. We've rented for 5 years. We pay all our bills on time. We've gotten all our bonds back. We have an investment property where we make money off. We have savings. I actually don't know who is a better applicant than us. And I've been to 16 inspections and handed in 11 applications. And we've been denied for all of them. The inspections are in the middle of the day during the week, so I've had to take off work or moved clients around 16 times to try and find somewhere to live. And I've realized now they're doing it so when you apply, you have to put, it says like how much per week, and I've just been putting like how much it says online. I have to put in my highest bid, and it's whoever's bidding the highest at this point. Or they're taking cash. These real estate agents are taking cash on the...
Yeah, that's definitely not legal, taking cash, but it wouldn't surprise me if they're actually doing all this sort of shady stuff. You know, give me a little cash kickback and I'll put your application to the top of the pile. Would not surprise me at all.
So I found out to put the application through to the landlord first. Like, I will refuse to pay $1 more than what you're asking for already. Like, I'm looking at 2-bedroom apartments for $750, and you have the audacity to ask me what my highest offering bid is. Like, sorry? Half these inspections I've turned up to, I've asked them, what is this? And they said, what are you talking about? I said, the kitchen on the real estate app has an island bench. This isn't even the kitchen that's on the app.
And they will lie to you as well. Yeah, I've heard quite a lot of stories of these. It's like they'll take the most favourable pictures from the best angles, or they'll even just use different pictures just to get you in to have the viewing and hoping that you're in a situation where you'll just deal with it. Bullshit.
Like, the shower, I feel like I need to wear thongs in my own shower, like, if I ever move in here, because it's that disgusting. Like, the audacity. And I have just got another message today saying that we are unsuccessful, when I've got my partner's manager to call them and say, like, you know, just, I've done everything in my power to try and push this rental application through, but we have to literally offer on the down low more than what they're already asking for, and the prices are through the roof. There's 30 people at the inspections on a Wednesday at 12 o'clock in the middle of the day. Like, everyone is taking time off work. What do I do? I don't know what to do anymore. I can't do another application. I literally want to peg my phone at the wall. These apartments aren't even nice anymore. They're just pieces of shit for $800 a week. Like, that is so much money.
Yeah, so much money. This is a stressed out woman. I hope you find a place. This one here, Kwana the Brat. At this stage, people are just going to move out of the country. I'm seeing a lot of this from Australia. If you're one of my Australian viewers, leave me a comment. How are you finding the country right now? Economic situation, the rent crisis. Love to hear from you.
So you can't afford a house, so then you need to rent. And the rental prices are so beyond astronomical because you're paying for someone's mortgage, and someone who perhaps has multiple properties, and you know you'll never get in, and you also don't have any security. So you can be kicked out at any moment. I've got mates who are having their first, second children and are in places where they don't know, how do you do a catchment area? How do you work out where you're going to send them to school if you don't know where you're going to live? And these rental increases are just suffocating, and they're not indexed on how much more we're earning. So there is an enormous amount of resentment, I think. I think the thing that makes the most sense to me is reading a bit about vacancy tax and sort of looking at houses that, the fact we have potentially 1 million houses that are empty, and then we have a whole lot of people who can't find housing, just seems...
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who just buy a house for investment purposes. There's a lot of foreign people who come into like New York, London, places like that. Like a lot of these flats in London, they'll have rich people from another country just want to park their money somewhere, so they're just going to buy a hard asset, buy it in London, and they go there twice a year, sort of thing. This comment here from Pint Man: the moment landlords decided that the mortgage was the tenant's responsibility, we lost. Yeah, exactly. And then this one here. And then the bank doesn't think you can pay $1,200 fortnight mortgage when you've been paying $1,500 for rent. I've never understood this. It's like most people's rent is more than the mortgage payment. Maybe not now with the interest going up, but they won't even look at that saying, oh, you've paid for 10 years. 1,500 for rent. We don't think you can pay back 1,200 mortgage. It's just bullshit. Right, we'll do one more and we'll get out, guys.
I actually cannot believe what has just happened to me at an apartment viewing, and this is basically your sign that Manchester trying to find an apartment is probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do in my whole life. So, meant to be viewing this apartment on Monday at 2 o'clock. They emailed me Monday 10 to 2. Hi Holly, sorry, we can't do today now. Can you do Wednesday at 5 o'clock? So I was like, not ideal, but like, yeah, I'll do it because I really actually did like the property. So comes to Wednesday, 3:30, I'm leaving. It's only like a 5-minute walk away from my apartment now. But just because, you know, gotta be early, punctuality and all that, get there, no one's there. So I was like, fair enough, maybe they're just not early. 5 o'clock comes round, not there. Okay, maybe they're 5 minutes late. 5:10 comes round, okay? Give them 5 minutes. 5:15. So I ring the estate agents and I'm like, hey, like, they're not here, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, I'm really busy, so I'm just going to have to give you her number and you're going to have to sort her out.
Jeez Louise.
I am not the estate agent here, honey. I am not being paid to do this.
And this is what I'm saying, guys. The estate agent doesn't give a shit, especially if they're in a big city. They know these places are going to rent out. They know it's going to eventually rent out. They can give you the bottom of the barrel service and people are still going to rent off them at an exorbitant rate. So why would they be incentivized to give you a good service? They're just not. They're taking the piss.
Anyway, I text the number and it's not going through. Ring the number, not going through. Nothing is going through. So I ring back the office and the guy goes, I'm busy, I told you just ring her. Ends the phone. Ring back again and he's not answering the phone to me. So none of them are answering the phone to me now. So I was so confused. I was like, whoa, what's going on? We stayed there for over an hour. Like, bear in mind, we're just in some random building for an hour on our own. So then, finally, the woman rings me. And do you know what she said? I'm in a fatal car crash. I can rearrange though, maybe tomorrow morning. But I'm in a fatal car crash. Like, I'm in the car right now. Like, it's really bad. Like, it's really, like, a really bad crash. In the background, I can hear, like, a bit of, like, hip-hop music. People typing away on their computers and people yapping. She was in the office trying to tell me she's in a car crash. So I was honestly there, like, you're not in a car crash though, are you? And I was like, well, if you'd been in a car crash, you wouldn't just go back to work if it's a really bad car crash. You'd still be on the motorway, wouldn't you? Like, ambulances, do you know what I mean? We're under a lot of pressure at the moment. And she was like, yeah. Like, there was like a 20-second break and she goes, yeah. So I go, so where are you now? And she goes, I'm on the way. And I was like, to where? And she was like, the viewing. And I was like, you're literally in an office, I can hear you. Like, why are you lying to me again? And she goes, yeah. I am sorry though. I've literally just wasted an hour and a half of my life. Yeah. So if you want to rent in Manchester, probably don't. Because I've had many experiences like this viewing.
Yeah, I've heard bad things about Manchester, like this comment here. I have never found a good estate agent in Manchester. Stay strong, Holly. I'm sure you'll find a place. You seem like a stressed out woman, though. It's such a shitty situation trying to find places in big cities because they're always going to rent out and you're going to get the worst service. So leave me a comment, guys. I'd love to know where you're living in the world, what your rents are, how you're finding this rent crisis, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.